It seems like a different meeting place than last time.
No,
This is where you
this is
went
where
in.
we go. Long as I can remember.
Okay. Maybe I've only been to this on Zoom.
Okay.
That could be that
That could
3
be.
years worth of, you know.
Thank you, COVID, or not.
You expect to be up here full time?
I live here full time.
Oh, you are?
Oh, yeah, I've been up here full time for quite a while. But, you know, my niece has a house down, you know, down by the dam kinda, and it has a little apartment at the bottom, so we moved in that. So they can get all the stuff on the inside done and stuff and pull the stove out and. It'd be nice. We just moved there last weekend,
Oh,
so I'm adjusting. But I've been back up in Georgetown for a couple of years. So,
it's a good place to be.
yeah, no, it's my hometown.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm from here.
You're from here?
Yeah. Yep, my mom was, my grandma was a maid at the Hotel de Paris. And my mom,
Family history.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I graduated from Idaho Springs and went to school up here and,
My wife was planning New Englanders via 20 years in the Atlanta area.
oh, is that right? Oh,
We've
yeah.
been up here now, well, we bought a little house on Powell Street. And, fixed that up and then turned it in, and then I retired and needed a project, so we bought a piece of land out on Main Street. I built a house. And, we turned that into a shop, my wife has a yarn shop.
Oh, the Pearl. I've
Yeah.
never been there. I think it's never been open when I've had a chance to go by. I did a little bit.
Good time to like 4 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, I
Not so much on
understand
the weekends, and by, you know,
by appointment.
by appointment, yeah,
Yeah.
time that we're around.
Yeah, I've never been in, but I'm a little bit of a knitter. I could use some lessons, frankly. I don't know how you read a pattern, but I can knit.
Oh, she,
I can't
be happy to
imagine.
work with you, I'm sure.
That'd be great. I'm also do pottery, and I noticed that, there's a lady in town that does pottery classes sometimes too, Carolyn Basket, Biscuit
Okay.
is the name. She's on the Facebook page at least some of the time, and she never has classes when I can go. Again, I'm still working, so sometimes.
Did classes when she first opened years ago. It really wasn't worth it, so she has to do classes.
Hello.
Yeah, okay.
She's happy to sit down and help people.
Yeah,
So I'm
That's
getting,
great.
oh, thanks.
So you- so-
Oh, do you have a
Wasn't
packet
that-
from tonight for
Helen
me?
and Kevin from Atlanta?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah, so you're pretty good at errors maybe, but.
well, and our town administrator, very from the way they.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Huh.
Hi there.
Hey there.
Hey,
Hey,
they go upstairs,
where's your car?
I parked over the parking lot.
I didn't see that.
Maybe chair.
You're getting the wrong, building. Or I was in the building.
Cyclone's knitting shop, his name is Bob.
Hey, Bob,
This is right.
I'm Brian.
Brian, nice to meet you.
Me too.
There's a little knitting shop that's down on,
707 pounds.
Look, it's nice.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
Do you have a tonight packet for me?
Yeah, it started out as, you know, quilting and knitting, and then.
oh, she
She
was.
Go get ice cream first,
Not
that's
so
more
much
important.
what she could try to do is she much prefers the knitting, so she's kind of phased all the material and all that, because she got a little bit left in there's a shed on the deck there that is their,
Storage unit.
yeah, that's basically the remains of the roofing stuff, so that's the bargain shed for the, tunnels and whatever, because it's snow on the deck and about the shovel and that.
My
No,
mom
I
was
don't.
a huge knitter, crochet, beadwork stuff.
She built it once, yeah.
Did one girl.
Yeah,
I said,
Let me go grab my.
yeah, that's about,
Thank you.
it's about the extent of my knowledge.
You dropped a stitch, I can say that. Yeah. Are you Bob Hamilton?
Yeah,
I was talking to Tom, and, we're trying to, we'd like to try to re-landscape the front of the building a little bit of the house that we'll talk about here. And what's happened, I don't know if are you familiar with that property, 926 Rose? So, as you're coming from the south and heading toward it, and you go across the driveway, the sidewalk is beginning to sunk. There's a sewer there, I think, and there's a sump pump there. And we'd like to bring that back up to curb level, so it's even for the pedestrians. But the regulations are, we're in the historic district, but not a contributor, is we have to replace flagstone with flagstone. And that sounds like that's gonna be prohibited. We're trying to look to see if there's any around.
yeah, there is.
Okay.
There's quite a bit around. I was, when you were mentioning that, I was thinking, let me talk with Rick. And, I mean, the town has, fair amount of flagstone that we pulled out of Strauss Park.
Oh,
I'm the guy who's doing Strauss Park.
Okay, great.
And we have some of it stockpiled up at the Centennial Mill and some diagonally across the street by the old video hall.
I've seen that stacked up over there.
Yeah, part of that is going to go, the school is gonna go get volunteers and lay a sidewalk in front of that place so that the school kids can come down. So
oh,
some of it's earmarked to go there, but, all the stuff we'll be putting into the park is all brand new. It's all, well, not all, but it's, a lot of it's still sitting up in Vian, it's gonna find its way down, and it's like 100,000 pounds of it.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, it's a lot. But I would like to go ahead and see if we can't find a way to start getting some of the sidewalk spruced up in town. Let me take that on, I'll get back with you, I'll
okay.
talk to Rick.
That'd be great. Rick has seen it, Rick has been out there, because the way that the drive currently is the drive is gravel all the way to the curb. So when you back out, the gravel goes down to the curb, and it's also over the sidewalk. So we like the concrete. Sidewalk is moved. So we need like.
Oh.
So that'd be great.
Oh, yeah, no, that's.
Yeah.
Blackstone, a lot of places in town, they need work.
They're going to take that on, so I'm thinking labor. That'd be good.
Oh,
He
yeah.
runs everywhere. He can't.
I didn't even see you.
No, I didn't run it. I just was speedy.
I cut it diagonal, so, and I'm like almost off line.
Those are full Blackstone side pieces.
So I was one in the shadows.
4 or 5.
Yeah, so nobody can see me.
This stuff says it's 3 inches thick.
Yeah, they might put it down from there, so I don't get me.
If you ever keep much of what's out there.
Yeah. We're going, we still got a fair amount of pretty thick stuff that we pulled off, so that's.
Too much going on right now.
Oh, really?
But let me look into that.
Thank you. No, great. Thank you.
Yeah, no big deal. You got there all the time, like everyone.
You can check with you on that.
That's a good idea.
That's all right.
Since I've had this too, time, it's. But.
Fine.
I don't.
That's a good deal.
Oh, no, no, it's. Yeah.
No, second page, he's just, that's it. Hey.
That's going fine. We made it. Yeah, me too. Nothing less.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think it was something. I did a couple things that, you know, I wasn't.
Looks cold.
Yeah. You think it's based on the microphone?
We met, yeah. Nice to meet you.
You can sign that one. Here's my- Really awesome.
Yeah, I'm new.
It's amazing how this little house looks now.
Oh, I know. It's on.
That different looking room.
I'm gonna start it. Probably have a
Oh, I just have one thing. Oh,
Sorry.
okay, I don't have the back.
This is the camera. Yeah, it's called an owl actually.
It's fine, it's stuff I know. I can deal with that.
Everybody, yeah, and then whoever's talking.
Yeah, so they'll miss it down. Yeah.
Oh, got me out of office.
Absolutely. And
Working on project. I pick it up for everybody else. Give it a second.
No, you can't see it.
You get 3 months out, just get everything.
So then you gotta hire somebody in place, but then fire that person, because that other one has to come back.
Or you don't come back to the project.
There's one solid man.
But it's like,
It's been too long.
Yeah, you gotta pay
I
it.
looked into it, but I'm not sure how.
I don't know.
How somebody had pay out.
From what obviously I'm not gonna pay this, but from what I hear is that the state pays him like 60% of his salary up to a certain amount, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, no, I do it.
So if you can live on 60% of your salary for 3 months, and it doesn't exceed whatever the cap is. I don't know, I haven't done any details, that's like this is like that. Yeah, so there's more.
Okay, you have to pay it. Okay.
Okay, perspective. Perspective. Essentially what that is. I'm looking at this concept. Yeah, I don't know how it works, it's sort of the hand, doesn't really matter to me. I don't know.
And I'm not worried, John.
Exactly. Well, his thing too is, yeah, that they want to March, you have to use it within a year of May. So, but you can't start until January 1, so he's got like a small window left to use it too, because otherwise you can spread it out over the year too.
It's March. Yeah. We look at small, we think small.
Yeah, dollars. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it would cover up.
Sure, chatters.
Are you ready?
Okay, let's call the meeting to order, please. Would you take the roll?
Jen Eaton.
Here.
Sean Platt. Here. Sue Mealy.
Here.
Betsy Blakesley. Mark Reynolds.
Here.
Kyle Hamilton.
Here.
Frank Ganzer.
Here.
Can we get approval of the agenda? You have anything? Okay, this is the agenda. I got one. Approval of the agenda, please. I know you have the agenda. Your second,
I'll second it.
all in favor? Okay. Audience business. Anybody here for audience business? It's not on our agenda tonight, okay? And so first old new business is Joyce Smith, 926 West Street. Come on up, please. And you have chair. Yeah.
Okay, that,
Yeah.
this is my husband Brian. Oh, come closer.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd say as close as possible.
Better formatted.
Yeah.
That's a bright light.
Now, if you will state your name and address for the record, the property will be talking.
Chris Smith, 926 Rose Street.
Okay, and what about windows?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see.
When we came to you originally for the approval for the, construction addition of the house, we neglected to add to replace all the windows so they would all match. And probably, I would go come back and
Yes.
bring that up.
I think I'm here on my concern. Did you change the window? It wasn't in the budget.
So
No,
this,
sorry.
what we're asking is to have all the windows that are there, all of them completely replaced, and they will all match.
Got one sash, yeah.
Yeah, I really like what Tom did with the little dotted line that shows the size of the old window versus.
Yeah.
the new. It's like, it doesn't really help them. A little more light to us too.
We would like to take them lower than that, but the room is so small that it would be below the furniture and the desk and all that. There's just no space beneath. It's just hardly any room to just spread anything there. The living room is only like 12 by 18 or something like that, so it's pretty small.
But they actually, they're sets of two windows. And each window is a 2 by 3. So in a sense, while it would be, yes, it would be fun to have another foot long.
Yeah.
But the whole size of the house, you know, but I
Yeah.
agree with you, it doesn't really connect that.
No, I like very much what you laid out here and
Yeah, we're really gonna try to make this good, you know, we're gonna reclad the whole section as well as the new, it'll look like an entire house instead of an add-on, and the roofs will be replaced too. Now, so we're just talking to Bob a minute ago, we'd like to re-landscape the front, but that requires replacing flagstone, so there's a cost item there for us, but if we can find something to put in there, we'll have a builder re-landscape that, and then the sidewalk is about that, it's dropped about that far, so it's a bit of a steep hill there, you've seen it. So we'd like to bring that back at curb level, so it looks nice.
The neighbors have had a sump pump there for the last bazillion years.
Yeah.
And that pours into there, and that's,
Yeah.
depressed that,
So what you would try to do when material becomes available is essentially lift it and make it.
Yeah.
fix the sidewalk.
Fix the sidewalk.
So if you're just gonna replace your flagstone sidewalk, the flagstone again, you won't have to come back to us. Okay.
Good, yeah.
We encourage that. And it is pricey.
And we will.
Yeah, too much for us. We're gonna talk about it now. And guess what? Once we get the walls off, you find out, oh, that plumbing needs to be done. What a surprise.
But you do.
What is this stuff?
That's like when the phone is young.
Yeah. And guess what happened? Oh, this is gonna be so much cheaper than we thought.
That never happens. No.
I said, Ken, how come they never said yes?
They don't call you, say, hey, good.
Yeah.
We didn't do the windows, so we do need.
Well, we get into the windows on the house.
Yes, but.
So they're just replacing the old ones to match the ones that are.
Right.
Just like you
Right.
siding.
That's the idea, to match them.
Yeah, still, we didn't.
And
Okay.
he'll order them tomorrow, we're waiting for, we make sure it's okay.
Oh.
No, we are too short of the windows, and I think we can certainly. Because it's turned out to be a separate application. It would be enough. So, and I think it directs to his page 68. And it's interesting because one of the guidelines that was pointed out, is the guidelines that say that, you know, you shouldn't, replace original windows. Except if your original windows were, you know, sort of not appropriate to.
Yeah.
Replace them, 'cause,
Yeah.
um,
Well, we really wanted to do that, of course, because we, you know, when we first came out with the plans, COVID came along right at the same time, so the whole supply materials thing went crazy, we just stopped for a couple of years, and that basically said, we can't do any more mods, but we've gone back through now, things have stabilized, and Ken Crosby, our new builder, so found a way to kind of work that in, so. I said, and the sidewalk, so that's really what we're kind of like, whoa, great, we'd like, because that's everything we want to do, really, it's completely.
Well, now's the time while you got the mess and.
Yes.
Okay, page 68, two.
yeah, page 68, I usually probably go to page 69, and especially into 69F. You know, maintaining the ratio of windows elevation to solid wall and, F1, it applies to new construction and historic structure. And I would go to, H, just H. And J, windows and doors will be finished with the trim elements, the same trim elements that are used throughout the rest of the house.
Yes.
And then I would make a motion that we, set the application for 926 Rosen. As presented.
Check it out.
Oh, there.
Aye.
Yes. All right.
Okay.
Because we got.
Yeah.
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 We let them do that. Well, they got the equipment
We have
out there too.
We've had sections of sidewalk in town, because we have extra places, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, we should.
that place really does need it. Yeah.
That one's a trip, I mean.
Well, and then
Oh, I
I
just
just
think-
there, crossing Eddy's will cost $39.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's really, it's really.
Okay.
Okay, well, thank you for
Thank
your time, sure. Thanks for the fancy chair.
First one. One of mine is sitting, six pallets are sitting up that we put it in the parking lot on the Bridge Street.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, all right, staff updates.
we all have a thank you, we all have a.
Yes. It's sort of-
This packet actually, the things that I, so, we'll go through those.
Yeah. So, it starts with.
Yes, absolutely.
Wait, the keys that on this someplace?
It's in that packet.
Yes.
No, it's not.
It's not on the agenda.
Well, right, you didn't submit it.
There's a separate,
Like the agenda came in.
there's a separate email.
It's at the end of the, it's in the back.
And. I think you certainly. Qualified you.
Yep.
So to do this, we don't assign the ultimate position. So
Okay.
this letter has to go to the board of selectmen.
Okay.
But I think the commission, if I could speak for folks at the moment.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, everybody's a young.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what I want to say.
Sorry it was late, I have a big hole in the yard.
Uh-oh. Why?
Yeah, you go down Rose Street, you'll see.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
I saw them unloading this morning. Okay.
Oh,
Let's
it's,
see what's going on down here.
yeah, it's a challenge. So, it's getting done.
What I would do is simply readdress this to the board of selectmen.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I need to do, I need to address that to the board.
Okay.
Big work.
With other commissions, there's been a motion to recommend an applicant to the board of selectmen, so if you guys wanna do that, I apologize for not.
I'll second.
All right, thank you. Aye.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just writing that letter to the board of selectmen.
Okay, thank you, that's Stephen.
Okay.
Nice, yeah. And an alternate would be handy, because there are nights.
Sure.
Yeah, we would, I'm sorry, tonight is that.
Okay.
And then, Keisha, do you know if we actually have another book of guidelines? It's online now, isn't it?
Another book of guidelines?
Uh-huh,
What do you mean?
like these.
I
So
have,
I can make it more.
Okay.
He's gonna be the only.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, no, I'll make one.
Oh.
I was like, to someone else, I just made one for Mark. so-
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Well, if that's what you want.
This is good.
I know, mine is just hanging all over.
So maybe if you want another one, I can leave that.
Well, you know, I would rather you look full of it.
I just took the pages out.
Yeah, we don't do ones. Okay, so what else are we doing on staff here?
Okay, so, you have the Saving Places conference schedule and that extra addendum packet I gave you. So I don't know if you wanna spend any time looking through that right now, or if you just wanna take it home.
I think we'll all just do that.
And I will be volunteering for some of it, but I'll be around,
Okay.
so.
There are,
How many places do you get?
7.
how many?
Everyone's registered except for
Sean.
Sean. And he's allegedly going to be either you or Brent on one day. Bob is online, so.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm assuming most all the lectures or sessions are
Yeah,
online.
I believe so.
Well, last year I couldn't get on at all.
It says no, where there's no live stream, it says no live stream,
Oh, okay.
which means they have live stream on the rest.
On the other, okay.
And they chose to go that way because it was easier.
Some of them are like field trips to places, so.
Yeah.
Field trips are usually extra.
Good, I'm the one who's so live streaming.
And everyone signed up for the luncheon as well, except
I
Sean.
hope somebody. And they were just.
Well, last year, I didn't even know, I didn't go to the lunch,
Yeah.
I didn't know I was.
Yeah.
I brought that.
Yeah. Before we have no, yeah.
Yeah. you need to- So who's going? Do you have any idea?
I'm probably gonna do it online, we're leaving on the 1st. So I'll do the ones I can online first, for the 1st.
Is there a link they sent you for online?
And I'll look, I've saved it, I'm pretty
Usually.
sure that I have all.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says to view it on the
I'm
sign.
Tuesday, Friday.
Okay,
Bob, they tried to charge me for the luncheon for you as well, but I told them you wouldn't.
yeah, you were.
Eating lunch.
And they had that, have somebody line up here, right? Okay, streetscape research, I'll read.
Yes, that's also the agenda packet. I'm looking for guidance on this, so I pulled out categories. I put some suggestions on what I kind of think you're looking for, and I focused on the historic district in general, but it's pretty loose right now. So if you want to give me more guidance on what you're looking for, like the streetscape, it was in the agenda packet.
Last page. Yeah, I think that's all our pages.
Yeah, right.
We have time. Oh, and then, there's that.
Yes.
Sorry, one that last day.
Yeah.
Generally, overall.
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff in the Denver guide that you gave me that I don't think is applicable to us, but I put the categories in there just so you can see what some of them are.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. That, paving, consideration number one, speed.
Yes.
Which is actually true.
Well, and some stuff, like I added that, I wasn't in the Denver street.
Yeah, I can't imagine what, because everything essentially is paved.
So potholes are good.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
Bigger the better.
But because actually, the folks who are in at least, some of the people who are constructing and two of the residents have said that the new Washington Hillside, who are on Main Street, have said, boy, I hope they don't pave this street. And they've said it because of the fact that that's a long straightaway and it would just increase the speeds. And so the folks who face the street right there, I didn't ask Cindy Jones, but the other two have said,
Yeah.
boy, we hope they don't pave this street. They'd like to see it graded. Well, which,
We all like to see that.
yes, we would all like to see that. So that does become, so under here someplace, are there also, the maintenance, under maintenance, street maintenance of unpaved streets is really an issue. So that one is something that would have to be. And as far as the categories, residential buildings, we've got that, and we've got commercial buildings, and we've really got signs, and, I don't know that parking would be, what we're looking at is something that becomes a little section in our books here, that is streetscape.
Yeah, it would be all public. I would think that would be the focus.
Oh, yes, it has to be public.
And so again, is it on the private residence owner to do the public part of like the sidewalk and the little thing between?
We have what our ordinances say is, yes, the property owner is responsible for the sidewalk. If, as we look through this, we had some other recommendation to make to the town, it's one thing to tell them they're responsible for the maintenance of the sidewalk. There's a whole different thing to tell them that they're responsible for placing the sidewalk there.
Yeah.
I mean, those are two really different things, and right now we tell them they're responsible for both, which means that you have some places where you have decent sidewalk, and you have some places that are really in difficulty, and for the places, especially in the historic zone, because the other zones don't have sidewalks.
Yeah.
In the historic zone, historically, it was the north-south streets that had sidewalks. It was only, part of Argentine, Rose and Taos. Lots of Main Street didn't even have a sidewalk. and certainly
Oh,
Bill did.
yeah,
The side streets,
Main Street.
and the side streets, the numbered streets, none of them had sidewalks. And we may not think that they actually need to have sidewalks.
Well, I don't want to repeat of 8th Street down there, you know?
No, I don't think any of us want to repeat of
And, you
Eighth
know-
Street, that's one of the reasons to do this, so if we sort of set that level of guidelines, and then if we really do talk to the town, if we want to, I mean, you can have good flagstone sidewalk, I mean, some of our flagstone here has, you know, has lasted its years. And well laid, as you all know, sidewalk, flagstone, lasts pretty well. If we want to do flagstone again from here to the park, which is what they were doing, they were tying to the park. Most of the flagstone came out of the 1890s, not the 1870s and 80s. But yeah, I think it's time.
I think it's
talk
time
the town and
look
say,
at doing something on Rose Street.
yeah, and to say, look, we'll put it down. The property owner is still responsible for maintenance, but those are the kinds of things that would come out of us developing these guidelines.
We do have a couple streets that are privately owned as well, so it would be incumbent on those private owners for like the actual street maintenance as well,
Yeah.
so.
Oh, yeah, then that's not ours too.
But we would still, you guys would still have jurisdiction over it as far as guidelines, so
Oh,
it
yeah.
just wouldn't be public, it would be private.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think what would be interesting is to take a look at the other districts and say, these are the categories for the historic district. These seem to be the categories, and take, because I think the categories, I would start with paving and go through sidewalks.
There's one about pans,
I added that as well.
drainage pan.
Yeah, is there something that's directly does?
The sidewalks are underneath paving, I should have put sidewalks at the front.
Yeah, I think sidewalks become their own.
Okay,
Because they're such an issue in the historic district and they don't exist in the others.
Well, any new paving or sidewalks or curbs or anything have to take into consideration the drainage, so
Yes.
that's all kind of.
The drainage goes into that.
I really don't know about the lighting thing, I mean, dark skies is good, and then everything else is kind of under our regular guidelines already. We have lighting in all the sections.
Well, we
I
have
think what we're
several
talking
lights in town that are off. We have several street lights in town that are not dark. Is that something that should be on a list of?
I just thought, things like that, we had to wait till it had to be replaced.
Actually, I mean, we have specialty lights here. We have specialty lights going down Argentine. To take a look overall at how the street lighting how the street lighting is working. I now don't have one in front of the house because all the only thing they could put up was a Cobra head. And I said, no. No. But, and I don't want one, so it's fine, but I think we definitely could look at
Street lights.
Street lights, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, are our streets lit? What are our options there? I mean, they may not be many, but what are they? And the other thing is exterior lights. We've got a number of folks who have, some of them are actually really dark skylights and they do shine down the sides of the house and some of them glare straight at you. So we might end up sort of trying to cross some of those in to be more. But I think it's a good start and I think it needs to, be a little, tightened down, reorganized and get to the other sections and I think this is a really nice goal for winter months.
For furnishings, we don't have a lot of space in the downtown area for a lot of this stuff, so I don't know what you'd like me to keep in case we have future space or take out, because it doesn't exist.
I think if it's applicable, then
Like bike racks, are we ever gonna have bike racks? Probably not.
Yeah, we have bike racks.
We do.
We have bike racks, we have bike racks. It's one in Strasbourg, we had one over here for some time,
Courthouse is good.
courthouse is done, yeah.
Parking
Well,
meters.
never mind. The plan is, sorry, the town is looking into putting meters in, so we wanna keep that one.
Parking?
Really?
Yeah, it's something we're exploring, so you guys are obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we hardly ever go to Idaho Springs anymore, because you can't
Yep.
find where to park.
We don't have that much parking. I know Springs got more parking than we do. So.
Yeah, but still, yeah,
It's a revenue source, so.
Yeah,
well, but I know who parks in those spaces on six.
yeah, but a lot of people almost look at those as they're parking in front of them. You know, it's interesting, but.
Yeah,
But no, I think, you know, we worked very hard on the historic appearance of this downtown. Parking meters doesn't exactly do it.
Well, so first of all, this is very, very preliminary idea. We'd obviously be getting public comment. It's actually a capstone project that we proposed to the school for students to like get public opinion on it. So, you know, I don't know if we do it in downtown or thinking about the lake is like one of the areas, but just in general, what are places we could charge for parking foot meters? What does that look like? We're just exploring the idea, so.
Yeah, you can't charge Bible, you could in, because of the agreement with, land and water conservation, you can't charge.
Yeah.
may not pan out.
That's the deal that we made to get the.
$14.25 you'll never get.
Anyway, that's interesting, but fences and railings, most of that's not public stuff, but
Oh, we can have fishing boats for horses.
Hitching, but yeah.
we still have one carriage place, we have one carriage stop where the stone's there, so when you step out of the carriage, you step on.
You still like one or two of those?
What?
We still one or two of those.
Yeah.
Should I add that? Fishing posts?
Fishing boats.
Huh. And public art is always such an interesting.
Yeah.
Anybody-
Speaking of which, how about the water tank up on the thing, can we paint that back green? Up over the.
With a big sign on it.
Yeah,
I don't know if you're talking about the one that is.
I'm here to use the right color green.
well, the one over by the highway that just says now, because they had to paint out the exit, and you can't see Georgetown, because by the time you're close enough to see it, it's over the hill. It's kind of stupid. Well, just my opinion.
Trees are interesting because trees were one of the marks this town. And that's why we put them back on Argentine Street, coming in, that zone between your sidewalk and the street, the right of way was 40 feet, and maybe we should do one for the historic zone, or we should do one section about what we know about what the historic streets look like and how they look planned. Because we do know, and if I can find it, the planning commission in the late 90s did a whole block by block by block, and what do we know about these blocks historically, that's why I know about that stuff.
That'd be interesting to see. That would be interesting to see.
Yeah, and so we should have a little history of streetscape.
Yeah.
To lead this into the historic zone.
I think this is a good start.
Street
I
signs,
think it's excellent.
Move my thought.
street signs,
It says should not obstruct.
well, street signs, at one time we talked about what were the historic street signs, but we never found them.
Oh, the name signs?
Yeah, the names.
Yeah.
The street names?
Well, no, the sign actually.
So
We
if
talked
we
about
could
that.
table that, I actually have an agenda item to bring up where Kevin Kuhar gave me the sign survey, so we'll talk about that maybe at that point.
Okay, but this is a good start, but,
Yeah.
Kim, do you understand next steps? I mean,
Yeah, so create, delete things that aren't relevant, create different sections for the different districts. Add some history of separate sidewalks from paving. And add maintenance of unpaved streets to the maintenance and irrigation section. Yeah, and then I'm sure you'll have lots of notes for me, for whatever I bring to you next, so. Okay.
Sounds good. Really good.
And then we have exhibit A. Is that the next thing on yours?
Did you want to look at the COA?
Yeah, Warren. I found it very confusing, on the official, not the COA, the official decision form,
Okay.
that statement, which doesn't make sense to me. The certificate appropriately expires to become null and void after 180 days unless an application for a building permit has been filed with the town within the 60-day period.
I also highlighted that on mine because I don't understand it either. That's what the language was on there before, and I don't understand it, so I was hoping one of you could clarify for me, or we could change it.
What 60-day period? Where did that come from?
That was on the decision form before. It's on it's also on the certificate, the actual certificate. Oh, no, actually, this one just says 180, but I highlighted it because there was a discrepancy, so.
Yeah, it shouldn't say 180, it should say 60.
Didn't we get rid of the 60?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, well, I think we get rid of the 60 on that. too.
Great. I was also confused about that, so.
It's not even on the one I had for tonight.
I think it's lower. I moved that notice higher, so it was more obvious, but it's on the bottom of the original one. Yeah, I reformatted it quite a bit, so some stuff's in a different location.
Yeah, that's weird, okay.
Okay,
On
so,
the,
okay.
did you take a look at where we stand in the 180 days for the 36 or 37 things we did last?
Yes, that's, if we could, well, yeah, do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to go over the certificate?
Oh, that's good.
Okay. Okay, so on the COA, some things that I updated, I changed the formatting quite a bit, so there's like boxes instead of lines, and the font's a little different. I moved some things around, so I think it's easier to read. I changed the 316 scaling to 1/4, added the survey of 5 feet, added the zoning requirement, added the utilities check requirement, the photographs needed for minor projects. Changed building inspector to town track. I added definitions for the major and minor projects. I swapped the first and second pages so that the list of things we need is on the front and then the application is on the back. And
Yeah.
and then I added, instead of people having to look up and figure out what the character area is, because a lot of people were really confused about that, what that was, I just put a list and they can check it. Because that's what it was on the decision form, and I thought that made more sense.
Where's that?
On the back page is a name and address. With
So,
that.
It used to just be a line and people would have to write something there, but you have no idea. Yeah.
And you know where the map is.
Is that in there?
No, the character area.
Oh, yeah, I know what the character areas are, but people.
Yeah, no, I get that. When they look at you and say, I don't know where, you know.
Mhm. And they'll hand me something that says some,
Georgetown.
yeah, it'll say, Rose Street, or they don't know what it means, so.
Yeah.
Yes, those are the changes I made on the COA. Is there anything you noticed that you'd like me to change?
On the
The
first
actual
page,
application, sorry.
yeah,
First
this
page.
one here, change building inspector to staff on the third bullet down, or the third box down, with typo site plan.
Thank you.
I got it.
Because if they go to, Safe Hill, then we'll never know what was decided. Town staff is in charge anyway.
Yep, okay. Oh, I also updated the fees, because those were incorrect on the form. And there used to be a line with the fees, but I just put them under each project. They're a little harder to see, but people usually just ask us anyway, so,
You could bold,
yeah.
then they'd stand out.
We charge for a preliminary review?
Yeah.
It's on the fee schedule.
That I never knew.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
I think they were paying.
That's, well, we don't charge somebody, who walks in for 5 minutes of audience, whatever.
But that's
But that's conceptual,
conceptual, yeah.
and there is a difference between conceptual and preliminary. I mean, if somebody walks in and says, can I really put a shed up here? That's not a preliminary review, that's just a.
And it's preliminary of the major project. So
Yeah.
we get discussions on, sheds and stuff like that. So,
Is 50 square foot still the fine line between minor and major?
I'll put it in the guideline book right now, if there were any changes.
I thought it was a cost thing, if it was over a certain amount. No?
Because we never see the cost.
Okay.
No, it's not, it wasn't.
Just wanted
I
to-
thought the calculation
Size.
Mhm. Okay, looks good.
Okay, excellent. And then I also updated the decision form, so you have quite a bit more space on the back now to write notes.
Mhm.
And I simplified some stuff. Well, it's more on my end, but the way it was formatted was very difficult to fill out before.
I like that, with the approval with conditions, see page 2, because I would always have to write on the back and write on the front, so that's good. Oh, and each of the application that we had tonight actually was historic district, not, I think it said. It's wrong, I don't know if they filled that out, they had Meadows residential on it.
Oh, it's correct on the decision form. Maybe it's not correct on their application.
Well, just, I can change it wherever I was just gonna, they probably did it. Okay, so. And then we've got the,
Yeah, so formatting, I have the list of character areas, space for notes. Question about the 180 versus 60 days, we'll get rid of that.
Yeah.
I did note myself that I spelled hereby wrong somewhere. I think that's on the actual certificate.
if you can actually just reword that thing about the 180 days, it just seems. You have 180 days to get a permit, or it's,
Or it's not like, yeah, I'll make that.
It's kind of worded just really strange. And, at the very bottom, which nobody ever has ever, I pointed this out, where it says DRC guidelines can be found at www.georgia.something.us.
Oh, it does.
I would hope people would figure that out, but it's, I couldn't.
That's fine, okay. Thank you. Anything else on this one?
So when it says conditions and or advice for application, these are our sightings and stipulations.
Yes, it's used to, those are the words that were used on the previous one. I can change that if you'd like. It needs to be 2 separate sections as well. I don't think we needed
It
that.
really doesn't matter to me, that's what I write there, so.
Right.
It doesn't.
I can put stipulations for applications.
Well.
Some things are
sightings-
advice though, so that maybe we don't require, but recommend strongly.
Yeah, it's okay the way it is, we know what to put in there. Oh, and then in the box where it says this constitutes a certificate of appropriateness, there was a line in the middle. On the old one, I think we're still on this one.
For the signature.
Yeah, where it says here by the chairman, and then there's a little line. And I initial that and stamp it, and they get approved. And that's just so later people looking back can see that that one was actually, whatever's written on it and all that kind of stuff. So you can put a little line back, or just at the bottom of that box or something. I guess I could just initial on the side, doesn't matter.
No problem.
Old habits.
Anything else?
John, would it be more clear if it was sightings, conditions, stipulations, like 3
No,
sections?
because sometimes there's more or less of one or the other, and you're trying to cram in a little space, but you have extra down here. Usually what I do, especially on a big house or big project, is start with the sightings and that'll get a lot of stuff. And if we start having stipulations or conditions, I'll do those across the bottom and go up. So I have room. So I don't think we need to have them second.
Just thinking for the public, if it would get more clear for them. I don't even know if they see that though. I've never seen that from.
No, they will see it now, because on the COA up here, it says it's attached, and so that's gonna be right on here. And this just gives me plenty of direct so people can read it.
Okay.
Hopefully. I like it.
Okay, and then the actual certificate, I didn't change this one a lot because it's more of a legal form. But the lines will be black, not blue. That was just a formatting mistake, and then who I will be spelled correctly. And Herbie, permission is Herbie.
So who's the representative on here?
The one we just did?
On the COA, it says permission is hereby granted to, and then it says representative. Is that like if they have a?
Contractor.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like for Joyce and Brian submitted everything and I wasn't totally sure what their relationship was, so I put it as granted to Joyce and she wrote on the application and then represented as Brian, he will be here, so.
Okay. Got it. I never filling it out.
And down in the, paragraph, just above the whole,
Okay,
there's another reference to building inspector, there should be town staff.
thank you. Yeah, and then I put C attached for the stipulation, so you don't have to write it twice.
Nice. Okay, looks great.
Awesome.
Do you have anything else, Peter?
Yeah, I mean, on a review of the plans for this year.
Yes,
Yes.
But you're talking about it's a building permit? Right?
yes.
Okay, so when you say it's in progress,
Mhm.
or you say it's expired, does it mean the work is done? What does expired mean?
It means that they opened a building permit and then didn't close it before it expired. There's only one on here that was pulled and completed.
Okay, so they pulled the building permit and they didn't complete the work,
Yes,
but they started the work.
they pulled a permit. I don't know if they actually started the work.
But the permit's never been completed.
Yes.
Okay, so what this really tells us is about the building permit. And the number that say no permits, it doesn't mean they're going up and about. Permits are not required for fences.
Right, so where the category next to it says needs a permit, the ones that do need a permit, I put yes. And then I was pretty sure fences didn't, but Rick didn't know and I forgot to ask Jen, so, yeah, so the fences don't need a permit. But some of them, like the new single family residence, obviously does need a permit.
What we're after is we wanna know which ones the certificate has expired on,
Right, yeah.
COA.
the COA. And that's, so we would need some columns that told us the COA had expired.
Yes, I'm not done with this project
Okay.
yet. This is
Okay.
just where I'm at, and I was a little sad about the fact that there was only one that was pulled and completed, so. The rest of them are in progress or expired, or they didn't need one, and I don't know,
But you.
I have to grab
I think what the hard problem is.
yeah, I do.
And so that's when it's, yeah, the tracking hasn't been there, and
Right.
therefore, this is what happened. But rather than no permit, I would put the term where it's not needed,
Mhm.
simply permit not needed.
Right.
And so it doesn't look like they've just gone ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, NA would be fine, it's just not applicable to, so yeah, it would be fine. But I think that does tell us, it also tells us about the weaknesses in our own system. And that's part of what we're after, is how we get a handle on that. So yeah, and at some point it will be complete, so we know which certificates actually have expired.
Mhm.
We would also, even if a permit is not required, we need to know whether that work was done.
Mhm. So it's pipe visits.
Yeah, so in a sense, somebody has to do the site visit as a follow-up.
Yes.
So that's,
And that's also on my list of things to talk to you about, is Bob and I got together and he gave me a bunch of resources for the kind of walks that he's doing for construction and site checks. So I'm gonna put together a form, and I just wanted to know from you folks if an online form would be useful, or if you want a physical form or both.
well,
I think you need a physical one if you're going out.
yes, if you're going outside to walk around, you need something, even if you go back and record it on an online thing.
Sure, yeah, yeah, you could, yeah, that's fine.
You need a worksheet,
Mhm.
so then, but I think ultimately. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So that's why I'm asking. I would like to do it with the phone, but I understand that other people prefer to write, so.
Yeah.
But ultimately, then it becomes.
Right.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Want paper?
Yeah, so I'm working on that. I don't have that yet for you.
But this is a major thing to sort of straighten out, because once it's, once we understand how we track it, it will help the whole thing well.
Yes.
And
Well, this form, this is Jen's tracking that I just copied, and then first I checked to see if any of them had permits and where they were at. And then I was like, okay, of the ones that don't have permits, which ones need permits? And then my plan is to call people to see where they're at, so.
yeah, some of it in the ones that don't need permit, it's really a drive-by. Did they put up the fence or did they not?
Right.
Sometimes it's weather issues too, you know, you're gonna do something outside and then the weather's.
Well, some of these, you know, like the My Hands just got their COA, so they're not gonna be obviously doing things, so I'll really only be contacting the first half of the year people, see where they're at, so.
Yeah, yes, because they're the ones that would be their certificates of this. The other thing, this would be extremely helpful for the CLG report.
Hmm.
Because they ask you how many applications you've had and what type of applications they are, well,
Now we have it.
now you have it.
Well, and Jen did, this is Jen's work mostly, so. My tracking is a little bit more detailed, but she was doing it, so.
Yeah, well, yes, because I realize she tracked it, she then doesn't have time to do it.
Right. Yeah.
It's one thing to know it, but the other thing is.
Okay, you have my staff report for the scope of work, if you wanna talk about that at all. I don't know if you all got a chance to read it.
I think it would be helpful to Rick and like the future, but this is up to Rick, to actually, write it out as a scope of work for this job.
Yes, okay, well,
Yeah.
he wanted me to emphasize that any duties assigned to me by the DRC are subject to approval by the town
I
administrator.
get that, but you know, I mean, if he is out at some point, you know, hiring somebody else, this is going to be
Right.
basic scope of work, and yes, any extras have to be with the town administrator, shoot.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, just sort of formalize it and say, okay, this is what's going on.
Does anyone have any questions about the scope of work report? No?
No,
Okay,
it makes sense to me, I think that, because it does include the fact that there are special projects come along, and if that works into the state. But I think we're straightening out some of the.
okay, and then, let's see, 700 Taos. I got a hold of Vince Tango, he said that he has some of the materials to work on stuff, he's like, I have this big bucket in front of me. But obviously he's not gonna be working on it in the cold, so he said when the weather warms up, no later than April, he told me he would start working on it. So I have an alarm set on my calendar to bug him about it when the weather gets warm. Crazy Horse, working with Rick and Jerry on that. And 912 Rose Street, I need, you instructed me to send another letter. Rick told me to check with Mark before I do that.
You.
We're waiting on you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So should I send him a letter?
gonna
Should I
be
send you?
Let's just put, when the weather cooperates.
Okay. We will wait until the weather.
It's on my radar, and I have plans to do it. I've already talked to somebody about redoing the stone wall. They haven't had one to go. Yeah, so that's a few.
So just make a note to keep on.
The stone wall is to be included when it is. Well, because quite frankly, you know, the Holy House is in exactly the same place. They've now agreed on what's going to happen, but there's no way it's gonna happen until the weather. So that we can even, you know. But some sort of note in writing would be nice, students.
Sure. Have my girl get it there.
Does the Holy House have an address? Does anybody know? Nobody
No.
downstairs knows.
Must have an.
It does, it's Sergeant, it's,
Was Drive going up there?
Argentina.
Ah,
No, Luke
No,
Drive.
Luke, yeah.
no, the Holy
Oh,
House.
Holy House, I'm sorry.
You know, the Holy House does have some form of address.
Yeah, it's got a fire.
Yes, it's got, because the fire department would have to give it an address.
Okay,
So I might check with Kelly.
maybe Kelly, nobody knows what it is.
I
I'm like,
put
everyone's
686 in my notes, but I don't know if I made that up.
606?
686, but I don't know if I made that up or not.
686 Luke?
Uh-huh.
Well, the county records, you know,
That might be where I
tax
got this
records,
from.
the tax records would have something.
So, yeah, I have
Yeah,
686
check it-
Luke
check
Drive.
it out on,
There's a tree next to the.
assessors.
That's the big lot.
Okay, great, thank you.
Sometimes I do make them up if I can't find
On
it.
the item to track, have you spoken with the gentleman on Thomas Street?
Vince?
Vince, yeah, Vince Tango?
No, on the items to track on 3 at 12 and Huggins.
No, I don't know what that's about.
That's about the steps he's got sticking into the street there. He's got
Oh,
the infringement.
yes. Mike Huggins is on my list. I have bothered him 3 times now, and he said he will have an application to me before the next meeting, so we will speak about that.
Okay, because there's no reason we shouldn't have that application and know what he plans to do. Even if he also backs off due to weather, that's one thing, but
You can do that,
what?
you can do the application.
Yes, yes, certainly could.
Yeah.
He knows what he's gonna do, you just said.
He's opening a restaurant in Denver, so that would be, that's what I'm listening.
Really what?
But I have been bothering him, yes.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what he does for a living, is opening restaurants. Got 3 or 4 or 5 of them already.
no, she just wants us to Where's to sign this if they're approved?
Oh, I see, okay.
So we're just assuming they're good.
Yes, and then I have somebody who emailed me, she's replacing an antenna on her house with a very similar antenna. Do you guys want to see that as an application?
An antenna.
Yeah, I know, right?
Which are like radio?
Or is
It's
it-
Excel, I think, or
Like a dish?
Yeah.
Digital antenna?
she said it was an antenna that looks the same as the antenna she has now.
Let me check and see what that antenna looks like.
What's the address? It might be a.
Her name is Kathy.
You don't have the sugar.
Not up here.
It's on Main
I
Street.
see people get them and then the week they take them off. Yeah. The ones is too. Yeah.
Kathy Hayes. What's her name?
Kathy? Is it Kathy's house?
Yes.
Huh.
I don't know where her address is.
It's Rose Street, should go to what, 9. Which number? It's diagonally across from 912 Rose Street. So it's down there on Rose Street.
Would you like me to have you submit an application?
No, I just like to know what the antenna looks like.
She didn't give me her address, but she can send it to me. It's AT&T that's working on it. And she said it's like for like, so. yeah.
Oh, it's like for like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is something we don't like already.
Hopefully it's don't like.
It's something we've been waiting to go away, you know, do.
Yeah,
I can't picture.
I'm sure it's for her internet. She's probably in a spot where the internet's not working. Yeah. It's like.
I will walk by Kathy's house and figure out what the antenna
Which
is.
is okay.
Okay, we'll do that.
Mike, right next to Mike and Janice Moore.
Oh, okay, they're little duplexes.
No, we missed one in between. It's the house that was designed by Rochlop, actually, it's built by a church. It's that, and it looks like a church because it's got that very steep gable front.
But it's got a red roof, right?
Yes,
Kathy Hayes.
part of it.
Fixing Kathy Hayes, I was going.
So did I. Now I know what you're
No, it is
talking about.
No, it is Kathy Hayes.
It is.
Hayes, Hayes.
Okay, well, where does she live? Because it's not.
Well, she lives in Missouri,
not think so.
so.
Let's find out where she
Okay,
lives.
I'll get her.
It's a neat.
But I don't say Hayes. I couldn't figure out where she had an antenna.
So,
Find this antenna.
Yeah, okay.
These people are.
And then,
This is
do
what
you
happens.
wanna go over any of the
People you never knew. Still refer to.
items to track?
Quickly, the Excel update, the Tiger Task Force continues to, meet on a regular basis. Brent continues to feed us information that comes from her. We are putting together, the large requests for the, adverse impact, for the whole community, because Excel has signaled that they want to discuss what they're going to need to do for mitigation, for historic mitigation. And, we're asking for some major things. And, you know, that the powerhouse get transferred to HDI, that the tracts of land get transferred to agencies who are part of the Historic District Public Lands, so that they go into the public lands pile, the between here and Silverdale. That they leave, the easy one is that they leave a little bit of a dam abutment so they can be interpreted along the stream and trail. That's the easy one. And then I tacked on a fourth one that would be some, they have provided some level of funding for that museum for the last 30 years. And that they not simply walk away and totally cut that off. I understand from the meeting in Denver today that what we heard earlier is indeed the case. They did put 60 grand of funding for that museum into a recent application for a large grant, $5 million for Cabin Creek, but they had to have a public portion. So they tucked in the 60 grand for the museum, so, you know, but that's a drop in.
Yeah.
It's not even a drop in money.
It's not even a drop in the bucket, but, and they're indicating that they would be happy to sell us these properties, and we are indicating that that's not what we want in mind.
We'd be happy
So,
to
who
do
knows
this.
how we do.
Supported that, you know, they've been a partner in the museum from its inception.
Yes, that's true.
And they've supported it to the tune of like 10 grand a year.
For 30 years, which is $300,000.
So
So they have.
go ahead and give us an endowment that, you know, that's
And,
15 grand a year for the next 30 years. Or 50 or 100.
yeah, well, give us, yeah, because the response we get out of the land department is that we would be happy to discuss salvage. Yeah. So it's an uphill, and you know, solver. But we're gonna keep at it.
Yeah, good job.
That's what we do.
Okay. 1036 Road, we just discussed that one, didn't we?
I don't know that we.
I don't think
we
there's
have
anything.
left on that one, do we?
Well, they
They're not
still
finished.
got the white slopestone coming out of the side, sticks out like a sore thumb. There was a bunch of gingerbread and, you know, architectural type stuff that they were going to do that hasn't been done.
Okay.
Can we pull the plan for 1036 road? It must be out someplace, do you have them?
Yeah, I've got one of the reports I gave to you.
Okay. Has
You
that,
sent a copy of that.
have they got their seal?
Oh,
Hmm?
see, they'll be able to see it.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah, and they were given their CO through
True say.
Safeville.
Yeah.
And supposedly Safeville can't do that. But
Oh,
Safeville.
no, we have to issue the COs.
No, Safeville issued. Uh-huh.
It wasn't even,
It was before you came, but they Safeville.
wasn't even an emergency.
No, it was the CO. They-
Hmm.
Yeah, so,
Sometimes they'll do a temporary. Or
Yeah.
additional.
How did they get it from Safeville?
It's like a chair.
oh, but it's the same, you know, when the demolition happened at 912, Rose back there, that was a demolition approved by Safeville. This town never got a permit for it, we've never approved a demolition permit. And we certainly wouldn't on a historic structure, but no, they got it from Safeville for safety reasons, et cetera. Safeville issued the one to the old school when we got it. Found it. I finally came back to the town and got the town permit. But no, they're, so it's a question to ask.
Why? Are they issuing COs?
Yes.
Why are they doing stuff they're not supposed to do?
Right.
Yeah, I wouldn't even get into it at this point.
Well, we, you know, a couple projects that we are withholding the CO until they fix some things, so.
Well, that's the point, why it's,
Yeah, that is the point, and if they go, yeah.
if they get it from Safeville, then there we are.
Right. Okay, is anything else on those?
So, we have minutes. I have, do we have minutes? What it says on here, I have,
Left me one copy.
let me see, quick. Let me take a look.
Which we've already preemptively signed, so.
That's my fault.
Just put them on next time. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, we're not, they're
Yeah,
not
they were
so
on the
major.
agenda and I do remember seeing them, but
No.
No, Jen usually puts them in, but I put this packet together.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Jen forgot to.
We won't correspond in minutes, yes? So the next.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. And then I just have a couple things for next meeting. I have a state of the economy meeting in Clear Creek County on the 8th, so I'm gonna come tell you whatever I need to tell you and then leave. So just so you know. And then we have 2 applications for next week so far. Georgetown Lodge is putting some new signs up. And then Thomas Sasako wants to put a shed up and some siding. I haven't vetted those yet, so. Well, the sign permit looks fine, but the shed one I just got yesterday, so. Yes, and then,
We don't do something.
Yeah, and we do, if somebody had a sign plan,
Oh, okay.
you know,
What is
it's the lodge, the lodge down there, the Super 8,
Oh,
the,
okay.
and
$3 million
we did a sign thing for, the Mike Hotel.
Yeah.
Like if
Because
they have multiple signs or
if they have
something.
multiple signs.
Okay.
We could do the signs, yeah.
okay, yeah, it is multiple signs, and I didn't have her, you know, she has some signs that exist that she's just changing the front of, and I didn't have her submit it to those.
However, if she's got an overall, they need to show up on where, so we know that there are signs already exist, I mean, you can apply a new one.
The other signs are standalone, I don't think they're,
Freestanding counts.
okay.
Total of, yeah.
Okay?
All right, shall we adjourn?
Yes.
Okay.
1113.
Ask me a question every night.
As long as he can.
Are we-
As long as he can.